Hello, welcome to another knitting tutorial video. I am going to show how to do another type of cast on. I've already shown you how to do a simple hybrid of a weaving cast on, but this video will show how to do an E-wrap cast on. So I'm going to work over 20 knitting needles, and from the center, this is the center of my knitting machine, I'm going to go 10 needles to the right, so right before this notch, because remember every notch is 10 needles from the previous one. So 10 needles this way and 10 needles this way, and then I'm going to just bring them all out to E position. Then I'm going to take my yarn and I'm going to wrap them around my needle. That is why it's called an E-wrap cast on. So let me come really close so that you can see very clearly what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to take the end of my yarn and hold it like this and put it between the first and second needle, like that. And I'm going to wrap the yarn, holding onto the tail. I'm going to wrap around the first needle on the left. And please take note, my carriage is on the right. My carriage is this way. It's on the right side of the machine. So you always start wrapping from the needle farthest from your carriage, not the needle close to your carriage. We don't want to wrap from this needle, no, because this needle is right beside our carriage. We're not wrapping, we always wrap towards our carriage, not away from the carriage. So if my carriage were this way, I would start wrapping from this needle over here. But since my carriage is this way, I'm going to start wrapping from this one. We wrap towards our carriage so we can put the yarn into the carriage to start knitting. So I've wrapped the first one, so I'm going to come between the second and third needles, and I'm going to go over the second needle and wrap. And as I wrap, I push the loops close to the gate pegs like this, so they don't come forward and fall off my needles. The other thing we need to take note of is how tightly you're wrapping. Please do not wrap too tight. Don't wrap like this. That's too tight, because if you wrap this tightly, when you go to knit the first row, it's going to be so stiff and you might even break your yarn. So that will be so heartbreaking after the time you take to wrap the needle. So please let it be a bit loose so it can slide on your needles. So go and wrap third one. Use your finger to hold your new loops in place. Come between the next one you want to wrap and the one after that, and wrap around. Go behind, go backwards and wrap around over the needle. Again, up between the next two, wrap backwards over the previous one. Up between the next two and wrap backwards over the bare needle. Up between the next two and wrap. And we're going to go up between the next two, wrap, and wrap. And that's it. This is an E-wrap. And the reason why I think it's called an E-wrap is it's kind of like you're writing an E. So you go back and then you come forward like an E. So at this point I can let go of this tail. Something else you can do to secure your tail is put a clip on it that secures it. And I'm at the last one. So I'm going to wrap the last one And then I'm just simply going to let my yarn hang straight up. I'm going to let my yarn hang straight up to my mast. Then the next step is to take your comb, mine is here, and put your comb on the loops that you have just wrapped. Please center your comb when you put it on your loops. Don't hang it like this with one edge hanging off, because what's going to happen to your work is this end is going to hang down and this end is going to climb on your gate pegs, and then it's going to be a nightmare to get your carriage across. So please center your comb on your work and then put it on, come up between the needles, slide it forward, and then bring it down over your loops. Make sure it's not catching the gate pegs. Okay, once you got that, you put a claw weight on your comb, and then you take your yarn, you go over to your carriage, open the yarn feeder. Mine is open already. If it wasn't open, you open it up, take your yarn. Let me go back a little so that you guys can really see what I'm doing here. So we're going to take your yarn. It's going to go under your carriage, and you're going to slide it into the yarn feeder and then close it up. So here's what my setup looks like. Adjust your tension to the tension you want to knit with. Mine is currently set to 8. Okay, and then you can go ahead and move your carriage over your needles. And one other thing you need to check is that your holding calm lever is set to normal position. It's not set to hold. If it is set to hold, take it back to normal position, because if it is set to hold and you knit across these needles, they will not knit, and you'll wonder, why is my work not knitting? And the problem may just be that your holding calm is set to hold. Take it back to normal position, and then knit across. I hold on to my yarn at the top of the sinker plate, because when I start moving the carriage, because of how far it is from my work, there's some slack. If I don't hold on to it, look at what happens. This slack forms a loop at this edge here. So because of that, I just pull up gently on the yarn here as I move my carriage towards my work. Go slowly on the first row, please. Ooh, I dropped a stitch. Did you guys see? In fact, I dropped 2 stitches. Okay, so if that happens, don't panic. Just take a crochet hook and pick up the 2 loops that I have dropped, put them on the needle, do the same thing over here, put it on the needle, and then I'm going to push that needle forward. I have 2 loops on right now. I'm going to take the top loop, pull my needle back, and place the top loop on top of the latch. This is the latch of my hook. I'm going to let the latch close over the top loop and then pull back, and that's fixed. And so let me repeat that here. Push the needle forward, find the top loop on my hook, on my needle, place it on top of the latch. Make sure the second loop is underneath the latch. and pull it back, and I fixed that. So that's one row, and this is the second row, and this is the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and I'm having loops at the edge because of my yarn tension. You might not have that. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. The other reason why you might have loops at the edge of your work is because you might be moving your carriage too far from your knitting. If you move your carriage really far from your knitting, when you come back, you are very likely to leave a loop at the end of your work, especially if you're going fast. So let me just knit back to the side. I don't know, for some reason I like to end with my carriage on the right. Now I'm going to take this off, remove your weight, remove your comb, remove your yarn from your carriage. So open your yarn feeder and gently bring out your yarn from under your carriage. Hold it towards you, hold on to your work, and move the carriage across to knit your work off the machine. So this is a fabric that was cast on with the E-wrap cast on. Let me pull some slack into this line. This is where I ended, and as in the last video, this end is not secure. It's going to unravel if I pull the yarn here, and this is where I began. So this is where I lost a stitch right here and over here. But if I hadn't lost a stitch, this is what my edge would look like. Very pretty. It would look like this all the way across without me needing to pull on the tail. So this is an E-wrap cast on. In the next video, I'm going to show you another pretty cast on that gives you a finished end. It's called a crochet cast on. So we're going to look at that in the next video. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please do like and share, and invite your friends who would love to learn knitting, and leave a nice comment. Tell us if you would like us to show some other techniques in our videos, and subscribe if you're watching from YouTube. Happy knitting, everyone, and see you in the next video.